Good morning, GHS. Today is Tuesday, May 8th, and it is a B-Day. I'm Sam.
And I'm Sydney, and you're watching the Duke Daily.
Here's a nurse's fact. Did you know that on average, Americans eat 18 acres of pizza every single day?
And now here's a Harbor video.
So on this episode of The Harbor, we have Amit Dodani, who is the founder of My Name, My Story. Amit, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be on this episode of The Harbor, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you're the founder of My Name, My Story. It's a nonprofit. Explain to me a little bit about what it is and how you started.
My Name, My Story is an education organization committed to teaching the 21st century skills of empathy, teamwork, and innovation to middle and high school students. We do this through school-based programs as well as summer camps.
Awesome. And how old were you when you started My Name, My Story?
I started My Name, My Story when I was a freshman in high school, so I was 13 years old.
You were 13 years old. And so how old are you now?
I am 19 years old.
So you started this when you were 13 and you're 19 now. So for the last 7 years, you've had your own organization.
Yeah, I have.
That's incredible. So many kids today say that they want to start something, they want to create things, and for most kids, they don't know where to start. They don't even know how to get going. How did you start? How did you get this thing going?
So My Name, My Story started with my own story. I grew up with a speech impediment. When I was younger, I couldn't say my S's, X's, K's, Q's, C's, etc. And elementary school was kind of cute, not being able to say the word dog or cat or whatever. But when you got to middle school and you wanted to talk to girls and you started growing up and getting those insecurities, it started to become a little weird. And it started to really get into my head a little bit, and I became sort of shy and reserved. And I ended up trying out for the Mott Challenge debate team, which makes no sense for a kid with a speech impediment to do. But I did, and I got in, and I remember those two coaches changed my life. They challenged me, they believed in me, they made me comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable, and they turned me into a leader. And after that, I remember in 9th grade, I was like, wow, I have this relatively cool story to tell where my biggest weakness became my greatest passion and love. What do I do with this? And that's how My Name, My Story as a website was started, just off of a really cheap service online that I could create a website template off of, and we started putting stories on there. And I just started, emailing people that I wanted to be like when I was older. People who ran companies, people who ran organizations, speakers, all these different players. Hundreds of emails I would send out, just hoping that someone would respond. And I got a few responses. And those people also challenged me. They also believed in me. They also asked me good questions. And naturally, I learned so much from them. And I think, I just needed to reach out to the right people and they would respond. And I think young people don't realize that, is that we have so much access with the internet and social media. We just need to use it. And so for me, I didn't think that, frankly, I would still be doing this work now. I didn't know that my small little website, my pet project, would turn into my job as a 19-year-old. But it has, and I love it. And it's something that has changed and evolved since the beginning. So it wasn't like we had this master plan put together, but some things went our way and we got lucky, and now I'm here.
This topic of empathy, why is it important that young people learn this skill? Why does it even matter?
It's a loaded question. For me, empathy is an action word. It is not a feeling or emotion or some sort of fluffy idea or mindset. It's an action word. When we're empathetic, we recognize that we really cannot step in someone else's shoes and walk a mile. We can't do that. But what we can do is listen to their own story. What we can do is take what we learn from their story and apply it in our daily lives to every person and every background and every perspective. We live in a world right now that constantly tells us that we're divided, that constantly separates us based on our political beliefs, based on our race, based on our ethnicity, based on our gender, based on all these outward appearances and beliefs and feelings, and it doesn't recognize that our differences can be strengths. And I think we need to be talking and practicing and flexing our empathy muscles more and more, because this diverse world demands it. Right? We have more diversity now than we ever had before. We have so many diverse communities, so many different perspectives that we can bring to the table. But there has not been a subsequent increase in diversity programming. And so I really think we need to harness this idea of empathy as a powerful, powerful action word together.
So what are a few tangible ways you can practice empathy, grow in empathy, develop that skill or develop that habit? What are some tangible things you can do?
Yeah, when we talk about the ways you can flex your empathy muscle, we break it down into 3 main questions that we don't normally ask ourselves. Who am I? Who are you? And who are we? So the first part about who am I is, how do you understand yourself? your own narrative, which is not some sort of dramatic story or tragedy or incredibly amazing thing that happened to you. Your story is a culmination of your experiences, the people in your life, your emotions, the things you love. That is your narrative. But it's a matter of reflecting and understanding what makes you tick, what makes you happy, where do you come from, and being able to articulate that. The second part about who are you is being able to listen with empathy to others. And so it's asking hard questions, right? It's asking why. It's recognizing that our stories are not Instagram stories or Snapchat stories. They're real life. And that's how we should treat them. And so listening with empathy to others and genuinely asking them why they do what they do, right? Asking, how are you in the hallways? A question that we don't normally ask our friends, and we don't seriously listen for the response. And the last piece of it is connecting our narratives to the community. And as young people, being very conscious about what our community needs, what our community values, the differences amongst us that we can use to harness creativity and incredible change. That young people can actually create change together right now. They just need the agency to do it.
Wow. Well, I can say this, Amit, you are making a difference. You are making a change.
Thank you.
And you are inspiring a lot of young people out there to be empathetic and to go out and create change and be change makers, as you say, in their community. And so, my man, thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for how much you care and how much you believe in My Name, My Story, and also just this next generation of youth. I think as you get out of school and you get past high school, you start to look back and think, this next generation's doomed, and they're worse than we were, and they're never going to make it. But there's a lot of incredible young people out there with big hearts and big passions, and it comes from people like you that they get to follow that's going to continue to turn that into more than just an idea, but something a little bit more concrete. And so thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be with us on the Harbor today.
This week is National Teachers Appreciation Week. Please make sure that you thank your teachers for their help and support, and tell them how much you appreciate them. Now to Jamie with the weather for today.
How about some weather ahead of today as well? Starting off today on the 3-day weather forecast with cloudy skies, high of 65, low of 55, and a 20% chance of rain, winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday also with cloudy skies, high of 71, low of 55, and a 20% chance of rain with winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And Thursday with partly cloudy skies, including some possible thunderstorms overnight, high of 83, low of 63, and a winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thank you. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Jamie. Hey, Sam, what's the hot plate for today?
Well, Sydney, today's hot plate will be chicken parmesan with a roll, broccoli, veggie cup, fresh fruit, and milk.
Well, that sounds great. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and remember to stay fresh, VHS.